Hey everyone, Happy New Year. I hope you guys had a great holiday. So for this post, I decided to try something a little different. So as you guys saw in my last post, I just recently completed Spider-Man Miles Morales, and since my backlog of games is growing at an exponential rate, I want to ask you guys, my Instagram followers, on your opinion on what I should play next. Whether to see if there's enough interest to maybe start a Twitch stream or a YouTube channel or something with a couple playthroughs. Get your opinion, that kind of thing. Yeah, so gonna go through a list of through my Epic Games catalog, my Origin catalog, my Steam catalog, and we'll go through a few games and then maybe get your opinion on what I should and shouldn't, what I should play next, and the winner decides what we will play. So as we start here, let's start with Mass Effect Andromeda. It's a 4-year-old game. It was released with mixed reviews, technical issues, broken gameplay. If anybody remembers the meme, it was everywhere in 2017. My face is tired. It was a bit of a mess. So since then, it's been patched. So hopefully, it's time for a playthrough on the game. Next up, we have Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars. To be fair, it's a game I have played through, but I haven't gone back since. I would love to go back, play it again, find all its little secrets. Respawn has done a fantastic job of bringing back that single player Star Wars game. Basically, single player game in general, whenever EA especially is like, oh, multiplayer, multiplayer. This is a perfect example of why single player games should make a comeback. So next on the list we have Star Wars Squadron. It's a game I have played. I've divulged a little bit into the multiplayer. It's really fun. The multiplayer, the dogfighting, it's phenomenal. It has a solo campaign. I want to give the solo campaign a try, give it a fair shake, see what it's all about. I remember as a kid, Nintendo 64, playing Rogue Squadron. Reminds me a lot of that game as a kid, so I would love to see what the single player campaign in Star Wars Squadron is about. Next, we'll move on to the Epic Store. So, on my Epic Store, the first game on this list, in no particular order, is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Really impressed with the direction they're going with the Assassin's Creed franchise, having played through Odyssey and Origin. I want to see how they end this modern trilogy of Assassin's Creed games. As anybody who does know me, I love history and I love fiction. So when they blend history and fiction together, it's a win-win situation for me. So want to give Assassin's Creed Valhalla a try. Next on the list, we have Control, a game I'm not too familiar with. It's gotten great reviews. A lot of people I talk to say it's a wonderful game. It's written by Sam Lake, the same guy who wrote both the first two Max Payne games. He wrote Alan Wake. So at least the story there is going to be good. So we'll see what Control is all about. Next, we move along to a bit of a controversial pick, Cyberpunk 2077. Some controversy around it being delayed. I've been waiting for it for a long time. So when it finally came out, to hear all these negative reviews about not being playable on previous generation consoles, to be not playable on console in general, it's unbelievable. So I want to give Cyberpunk 2077 a shot. I've played the RPG, the tabletop RPG, when I was younger. Fantastic. I love the whole Blade Runner, Vaporwave aesthetic, all that neon. Plus, it's CD Projekt Red, so the story is going to be great. So, moving along, we have Horizon Zero Dawn, a game I own on the PS4. Never got around to playing it. Has a strong female protagonist and visually stunning. So it's something I really want to go back to, especially with the fact that the sequel is coming out in late 2021. Maybe it's time to actually play Horizon and see if the sequel warrants a playthrough as well. Next on the list, we have Immortals Phoenix Rising. I gotta be honest, at first with this one, I wasn't sold on the character design. It looks a little too cutesy for me. But people who have played it, they say, it plays a lot like Zelda Breath of the Wild, that open world RPG. I love that kind of stuff. It's made by the same company that makes Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft, so it has that Assassin's Creed style of gameplay to it. So, I heard a lot of great things. I've put in 100 hours on Breath of the Wild, so if this is anything like Breath of the Wild, I should be in for a treat. Moving to the last pick on my Epic Store would be Watch Dogs Legion. Now, when the first Watch Dogs came out a few years ago, they showed that trailer at E3. looked visually stunning, and then when the game came out, it looked nothing like the trailer. They downgraded the graphics. Um, they they made it they downgraded it so it can play on console, and they made the mistake to not be able to get that graphics pack, that texture pack on PC. Watch Dogs 2 was a step in the right direction. The textures still weren't there, but the story was great. So Watch Dogs Legion, I want to give a try because I really enjoyed Watch Dogs 2 and the whole concept of multiple protagonists, choosing whoever you want to play, just like recruiting people off the street and having them as your character intrigues me. So that's something I really want to give a try to as well. So moving on, we have my Steam library. So we're going to start off on these two RPGs here, JRPGs, Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Quest XI. So these two right here, funny enough, both are feature character designs by Akira Toriyama. Akira Toriyama famously created Dragon Ball. He created the original Dragon Ball manga, so his artwork is unmistakable. If you're a fan of his, you know what it's like. So both are RPGs. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot retells the story of the Dragon Ball Z saga from when the Saiyans invade to right up until Majin Buu. So it's told in the form of an RPG. So that's something interesting I would love to try. Every other Dragon Ball game that I own, that I've played, have all been fighters. So it's something a little different with Dragon Ball Z. And Dragon Quest XI as well. I have not played a Dragon Quest game since Dragon Quest VIII, way back on the PS2 days. We're talking at least 12, 13 years ago. So I can't even remember how long ago it was. So it's something I've always enjoyed. The Square Enix, the way they tell their stories, especially in their JRPGs, they always go all out with those stories. So it's something I really want to give a try to as well. So as we keep moving down here, the next game on the list that I want to try is Marvel's Avengers. Now, Marvel's Avengers, this can be a little bit controversial as well. I'm a little skeptical on this. It has received a lot of negative reviews. Everything that's unlockable in the game is unlockable through microtransactions, or you have to grind super, super hard. Now, if you don't care about that and really want to know what the story about, I think this is something I would give it a try to. Having just finished a glorious, glorious Marvel story with Spider-Man Miles Morales, I'm afraid that if I play this one, it might be a bit of a letdown. So we'll see what the consensus is on this one. Next on the list on my Steam library is Persona 4. Now, Persona 4 is the precursor to Persona 5, which I've played on the PS4. Thoroughly enjoyed Persona 5 on the PS4, put in over 300 hours, and it tells a really interesting story. It's a high school simulator, but it's told through an RPG. But you don't really simulate high school, even though you have to go to class, there's homework to do, but it goes in stages. So every stage is a different day. So you start on one day, you go to bed, you wake up the next day, and every day it tells you what day of the week it is, it tells you what month it is, and every day that you go through in game, it tells you a different story. So we're gonna give Persona 4 Golden a try, because another one, JRPG, Atlas Games, they always tell a great story in that sense. So we'll see about this one. And last on the list for my Steam library is Sekiro. Sekiro is a very much Souls type of game, as in like the Dark Souls. It's very similar gameplay to Jedi Fallen Order. That whole block and defend, wait for your opening, but it's set in feudal Japan. Now, I've always loved like feudal Japan. It's always something that's created my interest. I've wanting to take Japanese lessons. I've always been fascinated by Japanese culture. People who do know me know I love my Japanese pro wrestling, NJPW, New Japan, love it to bits. Wrestle Kingdom's on in 4 days, so that's something I'm going to be looking forward to as well. But back on topic, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is a game that's, it's something I really, really, really want to play. Now, also, as a bonus, I probably won't be able to stream these if you guys do want to stream because I have no way of doing it, but I did pick up a couple games on Boxing Day, and first on the list is Ghost of Tsushima. This is a game that's very similar to Sekiro, except it's more of told through a story. It's not like the whole block and defend. It's a very open world game. Other than that, it's a Game of the Year candidate, so it's something to be worth. It's worth a shot, basically. And the last game on the list is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, I remember being 20 years old, got my PlayStation, and they released Final Fantasy VII. And I was like, what? I go, what happened to the other 3 games in between? Because if you're in my age group, you remember there was Final Fantasy 1 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Then you had Final Fantasy 2 and 3 on the Super Nintendo, which in actuality were Final Fantasy 4 and Final Fantasy 6. But at the time, I did not know that. There was no internet. There was no way of finding out. So when it was Final Fantasy 7, I dove right into it. Once again, it has like that futuristic cyber post-apocalyptic feel to it. So I'd be interested to see what this game is all about, what direction they're going to take the series. I'm going to see what what it's all about, and then hopefully we can go from there. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you guys think I should be playing then, and the most votes will win, and that will be the game I play. And like I said, if there's enough interest, maybe I'll start a stream or something. Anyway, guys, keep on gaming. Thanks a lot.